Hey, aloha, everybody. How we doing? What is today? Happy Tuesday. I'm so out of
Tuesday.
it. I don't even know what day it is right now. Well, this is a special live event that Nick and I are doing today. We're going to go over some great content that Nick has prepared. I'm looking forward to seeing what it is. It's going to be awesome. And we're going to take some questions and get through. I'm excited because this is the first day after the wisdom teeth, Nick, that I actually feel normal. So,
I know, and I was gonna say you don't really look like Alvin or any of the other chipmunks at all. So I mean, you're
it's so funny. Yesterday, I was on a call with Cameron and somebody else, and I was like the Godfather. I was like, "Let me ask you a question," because my cheeks were like, "Oh, I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse." I could barely. It was pretty funny. But hey, I'll tell you something really exciting about today's training that you guys are going to love. Because today, I don't know if you saw the emails or you know why we're doing this, but we're talking about infinite leverage, right? We're actually going to show you today how to leverage a few measly dollars, a few measly bucks, how to leverage this few measly dollars into hundreds and hundreds of bucks for your business.
wow.
So you guys are definitely going to want to stick around for this. And this does not mean lunches on me, Nick. I'm telling you that right now.
I was gonna say I think I need a new computer here at the office. It's about time.
You don't know that, but that's your money anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Man, that was an amazing magic trick. How long did it take you to learn something like that? I mean, to grow $100 bills like that.
Oh man, I've been working on that trick for a while.
Nicely done.
Been getting it ready for you guys. Yeah.
Nicely done.
I get to practice. So Friday when I got the wisdom teeth taken out, I wake up. I told them when I was going in, they asked me what I did. And I said, I have a business called Offline Sharks. And so they knocked me out to take the wisdom teeth out. And when I wake up, I'm coming out of the woozy and the fogginess of it. And they give me this.
Aw.
Like it says Maui Surgical Dental and Surgery, but it's a stuffed shark that they give to all the kids that come in there.
That's so funny.
Oh yeah. So I've been practicing that magic trick on him. Set him in front of me and he thinks it looks good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he did a good job. Well, who's here with us, everybody? Can you guys hear us? Maybe you guys can let us know in the comments. I know we got some people tuning in. This is kind of an impromptu live, like Tom mentioned. We're gonna just kind of wrap.
They're not logged in. I can't tell who that is.
Yeah, I can't see who it is either. But in any case, let us know who's here with you. I mean, even if you're not logged in, it'd be nice to see the names coming in. And like Tom mentioned, we're going to be doing kind of an impromptu live where we're going to be talking about leverage, infinite leverage.
Infinite leverage, yeah. Cameron, you're not drinking water. That's vodka, bro. Come on.
Yeah, Cameron, lay off the sauce, man.
It's already 5 o'clock where he's at. It's probably...
I was just gonna say that saying that everybody always says, like, oh, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, usually really holds some weight here in Hawaii, because it usually is 5 o'clock somewhere else.
Yeah. Hey, I say Brendan, Bob, Jim, welcome everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, people are getting in.
Yep, lots of people coming in. Rich from Miami. What up from Orlando, Disney World territory? So those of you that are with us, maybe we can get some good dialogue going, just some questions. Let us know in the comments if you are currently working with anybody else on building your business. Are you by yourself right now? Are you a solopreneur? Do you have an office space? Maybe you have some teamwork, some people on your team helping you. Maybe you're doing some outsourcing. Maybe we could get some information as to where some of you are at, so we can kind of throw some of that up on the board and just start talking it through, because there are all different layers and levels of doing what we do. And, for me, for example, I had, and I know I'm not alone when I say this, I know Tom has had probably 10 meetings today. I know Cameron had 10 meetings. How many meetings did you have today, Tom?
I only had one meeting today.
Oh, well, that seems fair, doesn't it, everybody? So what I was trying to get at, though, before I was just sideswiped by Tom's response, is that, I personally have a lot going on. Tom has a lot going on. Cameron has a lot going on. The other members of our team have a lot going on. Tom usually has a lot going on. Not
Yeah,
today, but
I actually deliberately, and this is what we're talking about leverage, right? Like, because I had the wisdom teeth taken out on Friday, I deliberately structured my time for this upcoming week to be light because I just wasn't sure how I was going to be feeling. Like, I mean, honestly, I had no intention of being on a live until Friday, but things change and stuff like that. But and I'm feeling much better today. But like the ability, because because I've built my businesses and the different things I do with leverage, which we're going to talk about, I'm able to do that. Like, I'm able to schedule in that way, not all the time, but if needed, I can do that and be able to kind of take a step back and things still run and function. Of course, that means Nick has 20 meetings a day, but hey.
So do you ever, can you recall, it wasn't that long ago, but can you recall a time where if you were going to have to stop, and maybe it was an emergency, maybe you had to go, obviously you didn't have to get your wisdom teeth taken out because you only do that once, but there could have been something where you had to stop and pull your foot up off of the gas, so you weren't able to produce revenue, you weren't able to go out there and get customers. Do you remember a time when that would happen, when you'd have it was just you?
Oh yeah, I mean, gosh, the times of things like that happen. Not necessarily, there's always, of course, right, when you're the person doing all the work, doing all the thing, like, especially when you're trying to build a business and you don't have those security blankets of working in a corporate environment and all that kind of stuff, right? If you get hurt and you all of a sudden can't work, like, it creates this kind of like nagging fear in the back of your brain, right? Because you're what I like to call is, in the beginning, I was always like one event away from disaster.
Yes,
Like,
that's exactly what I was trying to get at.
That was how I lived my life, right? Like, and because and what's really hard about that is, because you go through a long time and you don't have those disasters and you're able to keep it going, you start to get a false sense of security, right? But when you really stop and think about it, you go, oh my God, I'm like one event away from disaster. Like, this could go south really fast, really quick. And what could I really do about it?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people in not just levels in business, but in a lot of different levels, experienced to some degree some sort of experience along the lines of what we're talking about, right? Whether or not you had your 9 to 5 job and you were just kind of doing your side hustle thing, and maybe you couldn't go to the office anymore, maybe you had to start working remotely. A lot of the normalcy and the things that people were safely doing with stability got disturbed, got disrupted. So I agree. One disruption away from possibly, hitting an avalanche, right? And I think for me, and I know for you too, that I feel like when I was in that moment, that there was a massive sense of urgency to get, like, that was the first milestone for me as somebody was getting started to making some money somewhere else. First milestone was to get to a place where I could survive the next explosion without major consequence, right? And that originally, the first thing for that was originally just saving up, 2 or 3 or 4 months of bills, right, for all my expenses. That really helps a lot. But the next step, with respects to building your business, is having some people help you keep the day-to-day going, whether that's answering phones, sending emails, prospecting, sales, building out your projects while you're not there. These are all the important things that keep the machine running. And I see that we have a lot of people. Brendan says, I have a VA, but I'm thinking about letting her go. Well, why is that, Brendan? What type of VA is that? Like, what is she just doing like admin stuff for you? And then what happened that makes you feel like you want to let her go? Somebody else says, I have a mentor. My brother is helping. Cameron says, the teeth may be gone, but the wisdom keeps growing. Somebody else said, no more business advice from Tom. Wisdom teeth are gone. Oh. So, Tom, people are kind of
I know.
underhandedly saying that your hourly rate may have gone down now that you no longer have your wisdom teeth.
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the big things, like that, one of the, when we talk about, avoiding the disaster and stuff like that, and also this idea of leverage and things like that, right? Like when you're first starting your business, you're as an entrepreneur, right? It's what I call the paradox, right? You want to be an entrepreneur so that you don't have to trade your time for money and you have all this freedom. The problem is that starting a business, you definitely have to trade your time for freedom and you don't have a lot of it, right? When you're getting started. So you're in this weird situation where it's like you're doing it for these specific reasons, but those reasons do not manifest or happen right away, right? And you can feel like you're not getting anywhere because it's very unsecure. I think it takes a very special type of person to be able to navigate those stressful waters, the ups and downs, and the the weeks and months of not a lot of success, and figuring out how you're going to do things and not giving up and all that stuff. And it's hard too when you start having some success. Now you got a little jangle, as Hershey likes to call it, little jangle in your pocket. And the first thing you want to do is maybe work a little less, take a vacation. You want to like step up your standard of living, right? Especially if you were like me, where you're basically like paycheck to paycheck, right? Like you're all of a sudden you're not, and you're like, oh, we can just go out to dinner whenever we want, right? Like makes it super easy. So you have to like battle against that. But the way that I found to combat that though is by getting help, right? Like I need to focus on, and this is where the whole revenue producing activities came from that we talk about, right? Like I have a very clear understanding of what actions and things I can be spending my time on that are going to generate the most income, right? So, and that's what I want to be spending my time on. So like, I know the things that I'm good at, and I know the things that I suck at, and I know the things that I don't want to do. And that if I have to do them, I will like procrastinate, and, I will eventually do them, but like kicking and screaming, right? Because I just don't want to do them. So by applying leverage is specifically what we do with building a team and bringing people in and all that kind of stuff. It allows me to just focus on those revenue producing activities, which ultimately drives the bottom line and the revenue even more, because I'm just doing those things that are the most important.
Right. Robert says, oh, you mean like actually working? So here, and here's what else we mean. It's not just actually working. It could also be, so all of you with us right now, what is out of your current day to day, and this might not even be, and it'll probably be a good exercise because it might not even be digital marketing related, but what is the one or two things, and I really want you to ask yourself this question and put the comment in the chat. What are the one and two things that you're doing that drives you, like you don't want to be doing that? Like it when you think about doing that, like Tom, it's like getting your wisdom teeth pulled, right? What are those things? Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Well, I actually think, it's interesting. I was going to bring this up in a minute, but I think there's actually four key questions to be asking yourself when it comes to leverage. This one, what do you not like to do, is one of them. But I think there's a couple of more that are just.
Wait, but before you jump to that one, can I say the ones that I don't like to do?
Yeah.
Just because I think it's relevant, because we just interviewed and made some hires for some of these key positions. So, and the reason we did that is because we know that this is a way to grow our business and maximize our efforts in growing outreach, prospecting, sales. Those are the positions that we are interviewing and hiring. In fact, I just put out I sent a offer to a woman that Tom and I interviewed. when was that, Tom? Last week?
Yeah, last week is, yeah, I think I was
So check this out, you guys. I put a job on a platform, right? And it was for someone to come in and help us with do some sales, right? Sell websites, sell social media, sell all the things that we talk about here in Offline Sharks, because that's not my skill set. I'm not good at that. I know that that's not my skill set. If I could only, my thought process is, if I could only have somebody help me with some of those sales, I could do all the other stuff, or I have my team helping me do all the other stuff. So we can get that stuff figured out, right? Like, I know that I've got that sorted, but the sales, we need to open that up. And so we put this job online. Somebody had just so happened that was living in Florida, opened up their radius that they were looking for jobs, and they said, I think that I would like to go work in Hawaii. That sounds like a pretty good place to be quarantined, which good. I mean, rightfully so, right? It's not bad.
Yeah.
And they saw the job and they flew in for the interview with us from Florida. So there are people out there right now. I mean, that's one example. There are millions of them out there that are people that are looking to do these things, especially in our business, working remotely, working over the phone, working through email. And I sent over the offer last night. The response was, this looks pretty good. Let's talk about it tomorrow. So I think they want to, I don't know, maybe have some questions. I hope they're not trying to counter, because I don't think they are, because I made a pretty generous offer. But at any rate, yeah, sales, right? I need somebody to help me with sales. How about you guys? You guys, what if you had somebody help you with sales? Would that really help you open up some revenue in your business, possibly allowing you to sink that revenue back into your business and grow out these different areas that you're not feeling? Brandon says he hates his 9 to 5.
Nick, when you're talking about that lady who's, looking to come back here and came across your job, like, it's interesting. Like, we don't really, I don't think people really realize the resources that are available around you if you just go looking for them. Like, for instance, I just saw Robert Stone on here, right? Like, here's a guy who's in our Offline Sharks community, but he says, look, I managed several boiler rooms in my life. Like, here's a guy with cold calling, outbound call experience, right?
Wow.
Now, if you're having issues with cold calling, like, Robert would probably be a pretty good guy to ask questions to, right? Maybe post a question in the group. So, and that's from our group, obviously, which is marketers. But I know in my own personal experience, this happened as well. Like, when I had decided to hire an appointment setter for the mailers that I was doing, I posted a job on Craigslist because I didn't really know what else to do. I just put a job on Craigslist. One of the ladies who applied used to own her own call center. And the reason she was applying was because she was transitioning into the insurance game. And so she was taking classes and she had to pass this exam, and she just needed something part-time to generate money that she could work on the hours she wanted while she was going for the insurance thing. And it worked out really great, right? I'd give her a list. She'd make the calls. She'd set appointments, but she had, way super qualified for the job, and I wasn't paying like a crazy amount. I mean, I was paying $15 an hour, 10 hours a week, 10, 20 hours a week. So, like, but here it fit exactly what she needed. Now, had I not went out there and looked, I never would have known that even existed, right? If I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to find anybody good, or I start like going through all the doomsday scenarios in my mind before I take any action, right? Like, I see a lot of people do that. They think, oh, they have a great idea, and then they start running the doomsday tape, and then it's like, you don't ever take any action because you're too worried about all the things that could go wrong. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Hey, Tom, Richard Cronin, what's up, buddy, is here with us right now. And, Richard is actually somebody that we recently helped to kind of scale out exactly what we're talking about. Richard, I don't know if you just popped in for a quick mention on the live stream, but if you're still here with us, let me know in the comments there. Where are you at right now? Do you have, I believe last time we were working together, you were building out your sales team, building out your prospecting mechanism for your agency growth machine site? Do you currently have somebody doing that? How many calls per week are you making or per month? Do you have any recent new clients that you've got coming in? And the reason I ask that is just because that's what Tom and I are talking about here in this call right now. We're just talking about leverage, creating more leverage, getting more people to help us do these things that we're not very good at in our business, or just kind of dread doing.
Yeah, Richard was in our last private coaching class. He
Funny.
Oh, a great guy. It's nice of you to say. Well, let's talk about these. Let's talk about these other questions here, and then we can talk a little more about that because I know he's busy. Okay, so one question: what do you not like to? And by the way, like there are, this question of what do you not like to do? It doesn't mean that you're not willing to do the things, right? Like they're just things that maybe you're not particularly, you just don't enjoy doing them, right? Like it's not like you necessarily have to hate doing it. It's just, is it something that that you don't particularly like to do, like paperwork or whatever that is, things like that, right? Another question to ask yourself is, what are you really good at? This is a good one if you've never hired a team member or an outsourcer and you're just looking to leverage your time and you don't really know where to start. This is where I would start if I were new. And the reason is, you may think, well, if I'm really good at something, why would I want to outsource that? Well, that's a great question that you ask, and I'm glad you asked it, because the reason is that you know this thing inside and out. And so it will be really easy for you to show someone how to do it and get them to do it the way you want them to do it. That will kind of like break the ice with working with an outsourcer. Like if you're trying to teach them how to do something that maybe not, you're not really that good at, or you don't enjoy doing, it can be more of a challenge. But if you know something, if this is something you're really good at and you have a specific way you do it and a specific way you want it done, that's a great place to start with an outsourcer when you hire them, because you can show them the ins and outs. And now what happens at the end of that process is now you have this person that can do this thing just like you would do it. And you're really good at it. Now that frees you up to focus on the other areas that maybe aren't getting the attention they deserve, or maybe areas where you can sharpen your skills to bring somebody on to help with that stuff.
That's a really good point, Tom, because I built a lot of websites. I started out building websites. That was my first thing that I really did, was built a website for my boss. And then I was like, oh, I can do this for somebody else. I can maybe, start a business off of this. But what is the very first thing that I outsourced? Even though that was the best thing, I was the best at doing that one thing. It was websites. And it's exactly like Tom mentioned. Yeah. And it was because I was decent enough. I'm not going to say I was so good, but I was decent enough to where I could say I could effectively and efficiently instruct somebody what I was looking for and give them some timetables of what I would expect to happen and be done. And because I knew how to do that, I was able to, with one, and this is a true metric, you guys, one outsourcer, one web developer was able to go from, a few websites a month to hitting around 80,000 in a year from having one extra person help me building websites. That's pretty massive, right?
I mean, that's big. Yeah. That's
so big. Going from making, 30 to 40,000 a year working on cars every single day, getting home with dirty fingernails and grease all over the place and everything. And, smelling like WD-40. I'll never forget that. Right. To, making a huge leap in what I was making financially, but also getting back that thing that we all find so precious, which is time. That time that freed me up, like Tom mentioned, to do these other things. And look at Richard. Look at this comment Richard just made. He said that his meeting he has right now is for a potential client with 5 times businesses. Pitching to take over full social media management content will be his first $1,000 per month client. That's amazing. Congrats, Richard.
Yeah, congratulations, Richard. That's awesome.
Another great example is I was earlier today at a meeting with some proper, like, you guys know what prefabbed homes are? Like
yeah.
homes that you
Yep.
can buy that are like pre-built. Well, I'm looking to put some prefabbed homes on a piece of property, and L in the other room went and sold a social media marketing package to the food truck outside of our building.
Nice job, El.
Yeah. Again, building a team, empowering your team, helping them get set up for success is the key to growing and scaling and getting to where I think we all want to go.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, okay, so we talked about, let's see, we talked about what do you not like to do. We talked about what isn't, or no, what are you really good at? This next question, this one, what isn't getting done that should be? I think this is probably where a lot of people um would put prospecting in what things that they don't like to do, but like I think it should probably go in this category because that's really what I think of when I think of this question. Like, what are the things that are going to move your business? What are the actions, the things that need to be getting done that are going to move your business that just aren't getting done? And it doesn't matter why. It doesn't matter whether you don't like to do them. I mean, just for whatever reason, they're not getting done, right? Because maybe maybe you like prospecting, you're good at it, your intention is to do it, but because of other things that are going on, it's just not getting done. You don't ever be able to seem to find the time to actually sit down and do it. So what are those things? That's another good question to ask yourself, because those items are things that are going to create leverage for your business, but they're not getting done, right? So if we can leverage bringing somebody in to do those things, then we'll start to get more traction.
And by the way, for those of you that are listening to what Tom is saying, and you have some knee-jerk responses to what he's saying, like these are the things that I think I like doing, what I think should get done, and then you're probably questioning, well, what isn't getting done? What could really help me? There are some processes and ways to flush those things out too. There are some things, some exercises, some things that you can do, especially if you have somebody who has gone through them before, showing you how to do that, right? Like if I could reverse engineer everything that I've had and put it into a playbook, with how I got to where I'm at with my agency, and give you that playbook, that's probably something you'd be pretty interested in if you're looking for the same result. So there are some things that you can do to make that possible, even if you're questioning what those things are that you should be doing that aren't getting done.
Yeah, well, like a good example for this is, okay, maybe you said, oh, well, I don't really like to do cold calling. I don't like to do prospecting. So you bring somebody in to do the prospecting. Well, what's happening with the follow-up? Who's doing the follow-up? Like maybe you're doing the prospecting right now, right? Like you're doing a lot of prospecting, but are you doing efficient and effective follow-up? Like it can, this is why we say it can be a lot to try to do it all yourself, because if you're out there trying to do the prospecting, trying to do all the follow-up, plus trying to do all the work, very, very hard. So, in my case, I like the prospecting, the networking, the follow, like I don't mind that stuff. So for me, it made a lot more sense plus I'm not a technical person. I don't know if you guys know that or not. It made a lot more sense for me to outsource the work, right? And focus on those things.
Talking to me. He's talking about to me. It made a lot more sense for me to outsource the work to Nick. You guys, based off of everything that we're saying right now, what are some of the questions that come up for you when we're talking about, creating this leverage, scaling our business in this magnitude of what we're talking about? Do you have any questions? Because I know for Tom and I, we had a lot of questions, but I know for you sitting in your, position where you're at, you might have some different questions than we had. One of the biggest questions for me was, where do I look to find people to help me? And also, how much do I charge those people? Or what's a reasonable rate for them to charge me so I'm not getting ripped off? And then how can I put in quality checks, feedback loops, things in my business where if I give somebody a project and they are 10,000 miles away, how can I make sure that it's going to get done at the level that my customers are normally expecting to see based off of what I'm already doing by myself, right? Because that was a big piece of it for me. I was scared to kind of give up the reins of a project to somebody because I wasn't sure that they could deliver the results that I could deliver. So what are some questions that you guys have? And we'll get to them. I'll make sure we get to all of them, but I just want to drop that in there because we just touched on some good topics too.
Yeah, no, and I think those are all great. I want the answers to all the things you just mentioned, Nick. I think you summed it up pretty well.
I have them somewhere. I have them all written down in this.
Are they like on your hand?
Pad.
If you turn your hand around, you have all your notes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, and the final question that's good to ask yourself is what should be getting done, but you just don't know how, right? I mean, what should be getting done in your business, but you just don't know how to do it? That's another place where you can look for leverage as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at our questions here.
Yeah.
It says, where's this playbook?
The playbook is right here. I get it all right here. It's all right here. The whole thing, everything. No, you guys, in all seriousness, the reason we're talking about this stuff is because every so often, Tom and I make ourselves available to a private coaching class. And we have recently, I know a lot of you already know about it. We have recently started taking applications. Actually, we've been taking applications for a few days now. And tonight,
we have a really great class lined up so far, by the way.
We've got a great class lined up. We've got a couple of spots left. Seriously, a couple of spots left. Like if 10 more people were to say, hey, we want to join, we wouldn't be able to take that many. So we've got a couple of spots left, and we do want to make sure that anybody that was, seen any of what we've been talking about over the last week or so, if you had any questions, that we could come on here and talk more about, what it is that those questions are, maybe give you some more information, but also let you know that I think, is it midnight tonight that we're taking on
tonight? Yeah.
Okay. I believe it's midnight Pacific. Do you have a link?
I do.
Where if you were to go submit an application on this page, if anything that we are saying right now, and again, we're going to go through all your questions. I just want to make sure we put this out there while we go through your questions. If you go to that link and submit an application before midnight tonight, then we will get in touch and talk about this further. But we're not going to be able to extend it past that. Yeah, Cameron's saying midnight Pacific, so that is the deadline. So for those of you that have been with us for the beginning of this call and you already heard some things that sound interesting, you've been building some websites by yourself or trying to do some marketing for some of your campaigns or packages that you're selling, and maybe you don't like the selling and all that, then go fill out the application, and then we'll talk more about how we can help you do what we've done, which is maximize our efforts by building a team. We're going to show you how to build a team. So do you have anything on that, Tom, before we go into some of those Q&As?
No, I mean, I think that summed it up. For anybody on here who maybe is like, well, not really like at the point where I want to commit to the private coaching or anything like that. A couple of things I would recommend for you. I would do two things. One is I would seriously go through those 4 questions that we just talked about and figure out what are the things that you actually need help with, so that at least you have some clarity on that and you can start figuring out where to focus, right? Like, okay, these are the big things. And is it what's the biggest bottlenecks for what's going on? And then the second part of that is we have a ton of content inside the Shark Alliance, in our Facebook group, on our blog at offlinesharks.com. There's things on my podcast. Nick does videos on his YouTube channels. We have tons of content in various places that will guide you and point you in the right direction of building a team and give you information on what to do if you just need to get going in that direction. So I just wanted to throw that out there, just so you guys kind of have an idea of where to go.
Yeah. Robert asked, of course, the elephant in the room. He said, how much does it cost? And and it's a good question, and it really depends. Fill out the application, and what I will say about that is, this coaching, it's the most direct access that you get to Tom and myself, right? We don't do it all the time because we make ourselves available for what we're doing here. And what you can expect after going through this 6-week program is having the ability, and probably already have, a team in place to do all these things that we're talking about, all the things that are clogging up your desk right now, or your email, and not allowing you to take things to the next level or reach those goals. Then that's what you can expect. You can expect to go through this course and have a solid team and know where to go to keep adding on to and building your team, because that's what we're constantly hiring, because we keep hitting new plateaus, breaking through plateaus and hitting new levels. And guess what happens when that happens? Like, we make a decision to bring in more people to help us, because that's how we hit the next ceiling, and then the next ceiling, and the next ceiling, right? So there's that. That's what you can expect. The result is having a team and having Tom and I walk you through that process. But also, you should be expecting to, it's not cheap, right? And the reason why it's not cheap is because, I think there's one answer that sums it up. This training, this coaching, it doesn't suck. It's the real deal. We're in it to help you win it. And Richard is, a testament of that. He was just with us on this live. He made a comment about our private coaching program. Those of you that know Tom and myself, we're straight shooters. We're not going to ever put something out there and not over deliver on what we do. I think all of you know that. So, the ability to get in on this coaching and get to that end result of having this team and have all your questions answered by Tom and I think for what we are charging for it is completely undervalued or underpriced, because I know where we're at, and I know what you can have with all this information and strategy. And I know how much it costed us to get that. And, what you're going to be able to do with it, and the time that you're going to be able to save with it, is it's a great exchange.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too about it is, like, because we've grown our businesses from the beginning using these strategies, like, we actually show you inside how to bring people in to help you do the fulfillment of things without spending money out of your own pocket, right? So maybe you're thinking like, oh, well, of course, if I had $2,000 a month to hire people, I just hire them, and then I wouldn't have to do anything at all. Like, I just have them doing it, right? Like, we have a process that is scalable for wherever you're at, whether you're, just getting your business off the ground, or whether you've gotten a few clients. Like, we have a process that allows you to leverage a team, leverage these things, and do it in the most cost-effective way, so that you don't all of a sudden find yourself in this position of where you're spending this money, but things aren't happening. Like, we couldn't do that in our businesses. Otherwise we'd go broke. Right. Yeah. So we show you how to get around that.
And that is some of the special sauce, right? Like, our coaching program is unique because we have some ways that we have been able to do what we've been able to do that are unique to us, very unique to us. And that's what we teach, right? A lot of you have seen Tom and I grow our businesses from the ground up, and we, what we bring to the table is all of that experience, and also the experience of helping thousands of other business owners and businesses grow their businesses. Like, that is, and I've said this recently, that has been Tom and my business for a long time right now. That is what we do. And having that experience and information is what we bring to the table in this coaching program. So, for those of you that have those sticking points, you'll want to go to that application and fill it out, and we'll talk more about it. Maybe.
Yeah, I saw some great questions.
Yeah. I just want to know, though, put a 1 in the chat if you have submitted an application already, because I would love to. That'd make me feel good if you guys submitted some applications. I want to know that we're on track here. We already are on track, but we just have a couple spots left, and I'm hoping that we get a couple of action takers to be our next case studies. You guys seen all the case studies that we we post about regularly. We want our next person to come out of this group. So I hope that's you.
Yeah, I got some. You want to see a great magic trick? Just keep your eye on that cup back there. I'll keep.
What's that mean?
You'll see. You'll see in a minute.
Are you being serious?
With it? No, I'm not being serious.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was trying to do something funny, but it's not working out.
Okay. And I see a bunch of people submitting applications. So awesome. Thank you guys for doing that.
So, all right, let's do. So, Robert, first of all, you say best automation methods, but I'm not sure what you're asking there. Best automation methods for what? Maybe you can put that in, and then we will do that.
We got lots of automation methods, so that's a pretty broad stroke, my friend.
Yeah, this is a great question. How to set standards for contractors. And I think this is a good point, because a lot of people worry, right? Like, we have a couple of, one of our biggest things is like, we hire slow, fire fast, right, Nick?
Oh, yeah.
Hire slow, fire fast. But the other part of that, like, you have to remember, when you're bringing on a team member, like, you're entering into a relationship, right? And when you, oh, I love the sword. That's
fire
great.
Fast.
when you're entering into a relationship, right? And we want the relationship to be successful, which means communication and laying out what's expected is super critical, right? And most people don't spend enough time doing that prep work of really laying out what it is they're going to have the person doing, so that that person can hit the ground running and the expectations are very clear.
Very
Does that
true.
make sense?
Very true. And there's also ways to here's the problem that I faced many times doing this that I want to save you from, and I have my sword now. So,
you're like King Arthur. Do you pull that out of a stone?
Exactly. It's letting that relationship evolve far. It's like a bad relationship. It's like any bad relationship, right? Letting it go on much longer than it needs to. And so there are some things that you can do in the beginning to weed out those bad relationships, bad actors, bad apples, whatever you want to call them, in the beginning, in the very beginning, so you don't waste your time on those relationships from day one. So there's a process of doing this. You can pretty much tell that somebody is going to be good for you and your business with this strategy from the initial interaction, rather than 3 months down the road when you've already given them a bunch of money or some of your clients' money or some sensitive information from your client. So there are some ways to pre-qualify and figure out who you want to be working with in this process. And this all, again, comes from experience. We've had to develop this because guess what? Guess who was in those bad relationships for far too long? Guess who lost money? Guess who had client information get lost in the weeds? Tom.
Yeah. Tom. This guy right here.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's, it is definitely, I know why people feel that fear and that, like, about outsourcing, because I definitely went through all of that in the beginning. Until you figure out a process, it's like, it can be a little daunting. Let's see. Brian says the challenge for me is what product is something. Brian, pick one and run with it. Let's see. Jim says, Tom, are you still prospecting for the coupon cash business during COVID? If so, what prospecting is working for you? Thanks.
Funny you say that.
Jim, it is very interesting that you say that, because I'm getting ready to ramp up a new mailer. Oh, look, the glass disappeared, Nick. Did you see that?
Whoa.
It's gone. Oh, look, it's back.
Oh. I see what you did there. Nicely done. Nicely done.
Anyway,
is that done by text message? Hey, I need some Diet Coke. Is that how you did that?
I need more tea.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Leveraging. So, that's just what we're talking about, guys. Leveraging. But anyway, let me finish what I was saying here real quick. We're actually getting ready to start a new promotion to fill a card in the midst of all the stuff that's going on right now. We may actually be looking at a new shutdown. We're not sure They got they just took the kids back to all digital. So anyway, in the midst of all that, we are going to be prospecting, filling a card, and we're going to be showing you how we do it every step of the way. So, to answer your question, Jim, is yes, I still do them. And yes, we're going to be sharing the prospecting methods and stuff. We're going to be trying some things that we know work, and we're going to be testing out some new things and then sharing all that with you.
But also the key ingredient to that is we're having somebody else come in and help us do it. Not because we don't know how to do it, obviously, we've done it many times, but because we want to show you guys, and this is outside of the private coaching, but we want to show you how it's done to be able to have somebody come in and do it for you. So we want to show you how to scale it. We have a lot of information and training for us to show you how we've done it and how you can do it. But what about how you get somebody else to do it for you? That's how you scale. So part of what Tom was just talking about when we're doing this new revamp, it's not a revamp. This new we're going to bring it back up to focus and start hitting it hard again is basically what we're doing. But we're going to be bringing in somebody else to help us with it and documenting that process for you.
Yeah, hold on. Where did it go? Oh, okay. I'm just going through the questions here.
Well, Robert asked, how often do you offer private coaching? Robert, a couple times a year, and it's not like set, a couple times a year. One of the things that we have been talking about is this coaching class in this way, how we're doing it might be the last time that we're doing it this way. It's probably, to be completely honest, it probably is going to be the last time because of the way that it's set up. Like, you get direct access. So it's something that we have to talk about and restructure moving forward.
Yeah. And Robert, this is a great question. So, the answer is, it can be, it's really depending on where you're at, we kind of adjust things to what you need to do. Right. So if you're just starting an agency, right? Like the things that we cover inside this program that will help you are one, how to build a Rolodex of people who can do fulfillment for the various services that you offer. So we talk about picking a service to offer, zeroing in on that, building relationships with people that can do the fulfillment for you, not actually hiring them, but building relationships with them, finding all-star people to do the work once you get a client. And then the way we leverage all this by putting it together is now that you have people who can do the fulfillment, right? Your confidence goes up because you don't have to worry about like, oh my God, what do I do if somebody says yes? Like you already have that worked out. You already have people lined up to do the fulfillment of the services you're offering. So you can focus entirely on getting those clients. And then when a client comes in and you get a deposit from the client, you hire this person, bam, now you're off into the races. That's how we started leveraging outsourcing and getting in. And that's one of the things that we really focus on. If you're new, that's how I would utilize what we cover inside the course, right? If you're not new, if you're, you've like Barbara was in one of our coaching classes. I can't remember if it was the last one or the one before, but she has an agency. They had traction, but they were doing all the work themselves. And it was just too much. And so, she came in and we were able to show her how to really quickly start taking tasks off her plate, give them to other people. Soon they started getting more business because they were more freed up to focus on the things that moved the needle. And they didn't feel all that pressure and stress of trying to do everything themselves. So, depending on where you're at, what we cover will show you how to do both those things. Oh, I did it like that. See, Robert said, look, by the way, I asked investment, not cost.
Got me on that one.
Smart.
Yep. Damn you.
Let's see.
Yeah, we're still, I don't know who that is, but somebody asked if we're still doing the directory strategy every single day.
Yep.
Every day.
Probably, I just went by the office the other day and, oh, look, my video froze up. Hold on.
Yeah. Why would we not be doing it? I mean, we're I mean, that strategy works really, really, really well. There's no reason to stop. I mean, we're growing our list every day. We're regularly talking to those people that know and like and trust us, and we're pulling business out of it all the time. That thing will go forever. I mean, if I keep that, if I have that thing going for the next 5 to 10 years, I mean, I'll probably have the next VaynerMedia.
Cool. Nice. I'll see you on an airplane talking about, do I got
Yeah.
$1 billion in me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me see. Let's see. We already talked about that.
Let's
So
see. You guys
Jim,
have any last questions for us too while we're here closing out?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And Jim, we'll just be sharing that in the Facebook group and some other places. We may have some special trainings too. But yeah, doing the, like, whatever type of business you're trying to build, right? Like, leveraging a team will help you. So like when I was first starting to do the mailer, I was doing it all myself. When I hired an appointment setter to do the appointments and I just showed up and closed the deals, or just showed up to that was like a life-changing experience for me. So plus, as I wanted to offer more services, and I fell into that question, what are the things that I could be doing that I didn't know how to do? Like, higher level websites, social media management, all the technical kinds of things. I was able to offer those services to people that were on my mailer because I wasn't doing the work, right? Like, I had found people who could do them, and then I was just handing it off to them. I don't see any other ones so far.
Yeah, you guys must have all your questions answered. I hope that we have a whole bunch of applications. I know Cameron said a while back, once we dropped the link in there, that we already had 5 new applications. So, like I said, we're going to cut the applications off at midnight tonight and just take whatever we have from there. So if you guys haven't filled out an application yet, it doesn't cost you anything. It take you just a couple of minutes. You go to offlinesharks.com/leverage and just give us your information so we can get in touch with you, and then we will talk more about how we can take things to the next level for you.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and we appreciate you guys hanging out with us on this little kind of impromptu live. Great questions. Hope you got some. I know we dropped some valuable tips. If you're looking to get started in outsourcing, I would follow those. Right, focusing on what you're good at, finding somebody, bringing them in, leveraging those people so you can open up more of your time to do other things and really make big progress in your business in 2021. And if you're on here, like this stream. God, there's like 5 likes on here. Come on, guys. What is it, Nick? Punch it in the face.
Yeah, give us some love.
Yeah, awesome. And yeah, well, look forward to talking to all you guys. Look forward to seeing you inside the Facebook group. Nick, anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Just that, I think, well, I know this. Some of our most successful students come out of our private coaching program, and it's because of the level of access that they have to both Tom and myself. I mean, we literally get to meet up with you every single week, figure out what you're doing. Doesn't really matter where you're at. Tell you what we would do, give you the resources that we would use. Just make ourselves available to making sure that you succeed with this. Again, the end result that you can expect out of this coaching program is to have a team, and to have a team that you can mobilize. You can mobilize.
Yep.
If you don't have any clients, when you have clients, and if you already have clients, you can get going right away with this. So it's not going to be any money to get that team set up and waiting in the wings for you either. It's like you have your all-star football team ready to go when you're ready to go. And yeah, Tom and I have a lot of fun every single time. We always have a great group. We're going to take a couple more people. All you have to go to get in is go to the link you see on your screen, fill out an application. I know a lot of you already have, and looking forward to chatting it up with you guys.
Yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Stay safe out there. Aloha, everybody.
See you, everyone.